evening, ladies and gentlemen, commissioners and staff, and welcome to the Planning Board City of Paterson on Wednesday, October 21st, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. webinar session. Chairwoman Northrop.
Yes, please rise for the flag salute.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm going to ask everyone, unless you're speaking, to please mute your microphone. We have no background noise, so please mute that, and I will begin. Okay. One moment. While I find my paper. Excuse me. Okay, commissioners, somebody's microphone is on, I think. So if you have
I'm not hearing anyone.
Okay, all right. Commissioners, planning board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as chairwoman of the City of Paterson's Planning Board, I call this meeting of 10:15 of 10:15. Is it 10:15? No, it's 10:21. 10:21 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public Meeting Law have been fully and completely met. That the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the Planning Board office and with the City of Paterson clerk. That the public notice and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on 10/6/20 in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the Planning Board office, as is also the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the Planning Board at this meeting. The procedure tonight will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the Planning Board at its office in the municipal complex in the City of Paterson. Roll call, please.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. Commissioner Fisher, absent. Commissioner Ahmed, absent. Commissioner Brooks. Commissioner Brooks.
I don't see her on here.
Okay, Commissioner Savalos is absent. Commissioner Cleaves.
Present.
Commissioner Santana.
Present.
Commissioner Issa. Oh, you are there, sir?
Yes, I am.
Commissioner Issa. Oh, great. Welcome to our meeting. Commissioner Issa is present. Commissioner Eugene.
I'm here, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Commissioner Cook.
Present.
Councilman Velez.
Welcome, I'm here, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. I'd like to call again Commissioner Brooks. I will find out and call her while this meeting begins. And Chairwoman Northrop.
Here. I'm sorry, hold on. I'm sorry. Jesus,
That's the wake up, shape up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is people for me. All right. Okay, so we have a quorum. Madam Secretary, we have a quorum.
One moment, please. Present.
Okay, so this evening, pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act addressing effect of coronavirus measures on the next public meeting, consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order Number 107, given on Saturday, March 21st, 2020 by Governor Philip D. Murphy, the Planning Board of the City of Paterson will not conduct in-person participation of the public at all future meetings until further notice. However, public participation will be available by means of communication equipment pursuant to NJSA 10:4-8, commencing on April 15th, 2020. Though there may potentially be a practical need for a limited number of administrative, technical, or other city personnel to be present in or near the council chambers, third floor, City Hall, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey. In-person participation of the public is prohibited. Nevertheless, for reasons of compliance with the said executive order number 107, public participation will be available by calling 973-3. I can't, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna talk over this, so I don't know what's going on. When we figure out what's going on, then I will talk.
Still my name is my brother keepers, my brother's keeper.
It's not here.
Years.
Okay. Public participation will be available by calling 973-321-1579, meeting ID number 711-680-0071. Planning Board regular meeting of Wednesday, October 21st, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. On the date and time that the meeting is scheduled to commence. The public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson, www.patersonnj.gov, and following the email link for the meeting, www.patersonnj.gov/planning board. So this evening we have two applications. I'd like to start with the DaVita Kidney Care application.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Mike, are you there? I can't see you.
Mike, your mic is, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Madam Chair, that application, has been withdrawn. What, essentially, this was an application regarding 466, 490 Chamberlain Avenue. The application was brought by the property owner, West Broadway Realty, which this board approved back on August 12th. Whoever has their mic on, please turn it off. It's disruptive to the meeting. Thank you. The application was brought, I don't understand sometimes. The application was brought.
I would like to, can I address this meeting, sir? Excuse me, Mr. Aquaviva?
Yeah.
I'm going to I just muted 2 people. I'm not going to mute everyone. Some people don't understand this. There is someone with the television. I don't know who it is. I can't pinpoint it, but you continue to speak till I get IT to tell me, because they can tell me who it is. I just don't want to pull anybody out.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Madam Chair, let me go back again. The DEP Kidney Care was the applicant on the application tonight for the property located at 466-490 Chamberlain Avenue. That application was brought previously by the owner of the entire property, West Broadway Realty LLC, but specifically for the space that DaVita is going to be occupying. That application was approved. It received site plan approval and bulk variance approval back on August 12th, and the resolution was signed and adopted on August 31st. So after speaking with the other attorney, he agreed to withdraw his application based upon my letter to him indicating that what he was requesting was previously approved. So I have an email from him, and I could read it if you would like, Madam Secretary, but basically it withdraws the application.
Can you read it into the record?
Sure. Give me 1 second.
And while you're finding the email,
What was that?
I was gonna say while you're finding the.
I have an echo from Mr. Aquaviva, according to the T.
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know either, but I'm going to ask Donna Linda to let the record reflect that Mark Fisher, Commissioner Fisher, Vice Chair, is in attendance.
Thank
All right, okay, continue.
In any event, Madam Chair, at approximately 3:57 p.m. today, I received an email from Lawrence Calley, C-A-L-L-I, who is the attorney for DaVita, and he said, "Thank you very much for your letter. We withdraw the pending application before the board in light of the letter received. Thank you again. I will send in a formal letter shortly for your records. So based upon that, the application is administratively withdrawn.
Okay, thank
Without
you.
prejudice or with prejudice? Mr. Aquaviva?
With prejudice.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, well, that being said, then we're gonna move on and, we'll hear the, Abdul Dandis, I hope I'm saying that correctly. And, the attorney would be, Ms. Judiel? You're muted, okay, there you go.
Yes, yeah, just.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so you're representing the applicant in this particular, this application on River Street, correct?
Yes, I am, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the applicant proposes to operate a pre-owned vehicle dealership with an office trailer proposed on Lot 1, which is paved and vacant of structures. On Lot 2, a one-story concrete block building exists that is divided into 3 spaces, including existing storage, an existing office, and an existing social club. The existing billboard on Lot 2 is to be removed. The proposal is located on the western side of River Street between Montgomery Street to the south and Lafayette Street to the north. The combined lots have area of 10,607 square feet. This proposal is located within the MU mixed-use district. Existing non-conforming conditions will continue for front yard setback as 10 feet is required and 0 feet exist on Lot 2, and 10 feet is required, 3 feet is proposed on Lot 1. Non-conforming conditions will continue. So that was me echoing, and I don't know why we have this problem this evening, but I'll continue. The rear yard setback with 10 feet is required and 0 feet exists on Lot 2. 10 feet of rear yard setback is required on Lot 1, and 5.5 feet is proposed. Requires site plan approval and bulk variance. I'm gonna see if Madam Secretary, we do have a slight problem here with echoing. I can hear my voice repeating what I'm saying, but we're
Your
gonna
voice
try
is
to.
actually fine. I did get some interruption with a television set. We're trying to figure out where it's coming from, but right now you're the only one who is online.
Okay.
And that's it. Just give me a second as you continue to speak. And
Yes, I'm going to continue. I'm going to ask, Mr. Deutsch, would you please give us your review? And you're muted right now. There you go.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Property taxes and sewer charges are current. As indicated on the topographic survey prepared by All County Surveying and dated February 26, 2020, the parcel is frontage of 257.19 feet on River Street, a southern lot line that measures 32 feet, and a northern lot line that measures 43 feet. The lot has area of 10,607 square feet, or 1/4 acre. The survey also indicates that the parcel also has an irregular rear lot line that is situated along the Passaic River of 279 feet. Parcel indicates chain link fence on all four sides of the parcel. The lot is paved on portions of both lots 1 and 2. There are 2 separate one-story block structures and a billboard also on the parcel. Additionally, the survey indicates a one-story block building directly north and adjacent to the Lot 1 property line. This building is currently used as an automobile repair establishment. Heritage Madison Architecture has prepared a 3-page site plan dated March 12, 2020, going T01 entitled Title, Location, and Zoning Map, Zoning Checklist, Existing and Proposed Site Plans, unquote. The plan indicates the location map, the zoning ordinance data, the existing site plan, the proposed site plan, and the existing building front elevation. The site is located on the western side of River Street between Passaic River to the west, Lafayette Street to the north, and Montgomery Street to the south. The site was previously occupied by a multi-story mixed-use structure that was destroyed by fire. River Street is a major north-south local road. The zoning map indicates that this proposal falls within the MU mixed-use zone designation. This mixed-use area consists of commercial buildings and vacant lots to the south, a car wash and used car lots opposite the site on River Street, the John DeCando Dog Park to the southwest, and a food mart to the northwest. The proposed site plan indicates that a trailer with steps is proposed on the northern edge of Lot 1. The trailer, which measures 10 feet in width by 30 feet in length, is to be used as the office for the sales of the used cars. 21 parking spaces are indicated on Lot 1 to serve as used car display spaces. A 22-foot depressed curb cut on River Street is proposed between the 14 display spaces to the north and 7 display spaces to the south. A sliding chain link fence exists along this portion of the property frontage. South of the proposed used car parking spaces is the larger of the 2 one-story buildings. South of the few-inch separation is the smaller of the 2 one-story buildings. South of this building is a 5-vehicle parking lot with the second proposed 22-foot depressed curb cut on River Street. The existing billboard is attached to the northern side of the smaller 1-story building. The front elevation indicates that the existing 1-story building on River Street is actually 2 buildings separated by a few inches. The smaller building is on the left and indicates a brick and stucco facade with 1 door and 1 window. The larger building is on the right and indicates a brick and vertical painted wood facade with 3 doors and 5 windows. Drawing A01 entitled Floor Plan and Details indicates the floor plan of the existing building, the proposed trailer floor plan, the handicap and stop sign details, the curb, sidewalk paving detail, and the drop curb and driveway detail. The 2 adjacent 1-story buildings are divided into 3 separate spaces. The building at the south has 645 square feet and has a restroom. The space is vacant. The middle space has 717 square feet and has a restroom. The space is vacant. The northern space has 1,120 square feet, has a restroom, and used as a social club. An email dated September 14, 2020 from Shawana Williams, it is advised that the social club is named the Amazing Met Social Club and was established in 1962. It is stated to be a nonprofit organization that has helped many other nonprofit organizations and charities throughout the city of Paterson through the years. The hours of operation are stated to be from 4:00 p.m. to 10:00 p.m. unless there is a special event. The floor plan of the trailer indicates a 21 square foot restroom, 1 office with a window of 320 square feet, a waiting area with 2 windows of 156 square feet, and an exterior staircase. Security cameras shall be placed on the trailer at both of the 1-story buildings. Drawing A02 indicates the elevations of the buildings, left side, right side, and the proposed trailer left side elevation. Auto sales requires a state of New Jersey motor vehicle license. There are only 2 zoning designations in the city that permit this type of use, the MU zone and the B3 general business district. Many uses of this type seek use variances to operate in other designated zones of the city, such as I-1 light industrial zone. A lighting plan shall be submitted. The applicant is prohibited from doing any automotive repair of vehicles on the premises. Either mechanical repair or body repair work is expressly prohibited. The stop sign and handicap parking sign be placed as indicated on drawing T01. The parking spaces, except for the handicap space, shall be a minimum of 9 feet in width by 18 feet in length. Razor wire is strictly forbidden to be placed on top of any fencing. Existing non-conforming conditions will continue for front yard setback as 10 feet is required and 0 feet exists on lot 2, and 10 feet is required and 3 feet is proposed on lot 1. Rear yard setback of 10 feet is required and 0 feet exists on lot 2. 10 feet of rear yard setback is required on lot 1 and 5.5 feet is proposed. The applicant shall advise as to the location and placement of recycling and refuse containers on the site. Of the 26 parking spaces indicated on the site, 2 are required for the vacant office space, 2 are required for the social club, and 1 is required for the used car employee. The remaining 21 parking spaces are for customer parking and vehicle display. Customer parking along River Street is expressly prohibited. The applicant proposes to be open 6 days per week. Hours of operation are from 10 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Monday to Saturday. The total number of expected employees is 1. The applicant shall not store or place any vehicles, registered or unregistered, on any area of the public right-of-way. Prior to the placement of any commercial and/or identification signs on the office trailer or property, review and approval shall be obtained from the Paterson Division of Planning and Zoning, and permits shall be obtained from the Division of Community Improvements. Plans have been sent to the city engineer for review and approval. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and/or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. Surrounding land uses. This proposal is located in the MU mixed-use district in the downtown section of the city. River Street is a fairly heavily traveled north-south roadway that leads from the Bunker Hill Light Industrial District to the north to the edges of the Central Business District to the south. In conclusion, the applicant estimates the cost of this proposal at approximately $16,000. What is staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman?
Thank you, Mr. Deutsch. Mr. Vial, you may proceed.
Yes. Good evening, Madam Chair,
Good evening.
Vice Chair Fisher, Director Deutsch, members, and Mr. Kaliva. I'm representing Adel Moulin Dandis in the application set forth. The property, the address for the properties are 245-253 River Street and 255-263 River Street, lots 2 and 1. The proposal is for the inclusion of a used car dealership on lot 1, as mentioned before. And on lot 2, a smaller parking area. The existing one-story building will remain the same. There are 3 office spaces, 1 which is rented out to the social club, who intends to remain post the application. And the other 2, there are no tenants for the other 2 spaces. Today I have 2 witnesses to testify before the board, Mr. Dandis, the applicant, and Mr. Al-Mokhtar, who is the architect.
Which witness are you gonna call first?
I would like to call Mr. Al-Mokhtar.
Yes, please do.
Mr. Al-Mokhtar?
Hold on, please raise your right hand. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Say your full name for the record.
Now, sir, Al-Mokhtar, A-L-M-U-A-H-T-A-R. Address is 1171 Madison Avenue, Paterson, New Jersey, 07503.
We accept Mr. Al-Mokhtar as an expert witness. He's been before us many times. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Mr. Al-Mokhtar, would you please explain to the board tonight exactly what your plans indicate on how to achieve the desired result, which is the used car lot on lot 1 and on lot 2, the removal of the billboard sign and the development of the extra space into a smaller parking lot.
Yes, sure. So, the existing 2 lots are approximately 10,600 square feet. To the south, there's some vacant area with a billboard, so in order to accommodate some parking in that area, we're proposing to provide a curb cut and the removal of the existing billboard so that we can provide 5 car parking spaces, including 1 handicap parking space. And those spaces would be serving the social club, the existing office, and then the other space, which is basically a being used or rented by anyone. Mr. Dandis uses it as a storage for his multi-businesses. So that southern part would accommodate 5 spaces, and it would be restriped to indicate that. And then to the north of the existing structures, we're proposing to have.
Wait, I'm sorry, can I just ask, do you have plans? Do you have any plans that can be posted on the screen?
Sure.
So that, the commissioners can see exactly what we're talking about here?
Yes.
Okay.
Please identify the page that you're speaking about it, A1, A2, I'm not sure, but please identify it.
Do you see it now, this screen?
No. No, I don't see it.
Sorry.
All right, take your time, just so we can, it'd be better if the commissioners can see.
How about now?
Yes,
Okay.
okay. Please,
So I'm going to zoom into the existing site plan. This is the existing site plan. There's a billboard, and there's no curb cut to the south of the existing structure, the one-story block building. So we're proposing to provide a curb cut there and turn that space into a parking lot. This parking lot is indicated on this drawing, which would contain parking number 5 would be for the handicap, and then to the north of that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 parking spaces, and there would be a 22-foot wide curb cut there. This is the one-story existing structure here. In a minute I will turn the page and I will show you the interior layout of those structures. However, to the north of that, we're proposing a used car dealership that would contain a 10 by 32 feet trailer all the way to the north. And then south of that, we will have 21 spaces that would be allocated to the exhibition of the used cars, or, for customers. It would be obviously organized as required and as needed. There also, to the proposed car dealership, we're proposing another curb cut off of River Street that would be 22-foot wide also, 2-way in and out. Above that, there's the existing structure. Those are the elevations of the existing structure, as Mr. Bush has described it. Brick and stucco, and then there's vertical siding, wood siding that's painted. On the right side is the social club that we mentioned, and then in the middle, a little bit to the left, is the existing open space that I don't believe is occupied at this time, but it would be rented. And then to the left of that also, there's that storage space that I alluded to earlier. This, again, is located in the MU zone. This is where it's located, along River Street. And as Mr. Deutsch has mentioned, the MU zone does permit a used car dealership lot there. The variances that we're asking for are just 2 variances. They're also mentioned in Mr. Deutsch's report. The 2 bulk variances are pre-existing conditions for the existing structures. The front yard required is 10, and we have 0, and the rear yard required is 10 also, and we have 0. Other than that, we're not requesting any other bulk variances except for those pre-existing conditions.
okay. Does that conclude your testimony?
I can briefly describe the interior layouts, if you like.
Yes, please.
Sure. So I'm zooming into the existing structure. There's a storage space, and then there's an office space, and then there's a social club. And this is the proposed trailer for the used car dealership. So 320 square feet, 10 foot wide by 32 foot deep. The office is actually 110. That was, a typo. The entire trailer is 320, not just the office. So it's just an office space, a restroom, and a waiting area for customers. And some site details, existing elevations and the proposed elevation for the trailer. As far as what Mr. Deutsch's report, the security cameras, the lighting plan, definitely we agree to that, and we will submit that, subject to his approval or the engineer's approval. And that now a conclusion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Liao?
Yes. Mr. Al-Mokhtar, I just want to confirm, I'm looking at your plan. The three existing spaces already have bathrooms that pre-exist,
Yes, that's right.
and that includes a storage space, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And there was a question about the placement of the recycling and the refuse containers. Can you please elaborate on that for the board?
Yes, we also, and with Mr. Williams, we are located just north of the social club. I can move the parking spot that's on an angle. Just located there, just north of the social club, towards the rear. And obviously, I will update my plans and revise and reflect that location.
So I would like to open any questions to the board for my witness.
Yes, but first I'm gonna ask you, for the sake of time, I'm gonna ask you to call, your next witness because, he's the owner, and then I'm gonna give it out to the public so they can question both. They have a question for either one, and then our commissioners will ask questions as well. Okay, so do you wanna ask Mr. Dandis?
Mr. Dandis?
Yes, hi.
Hello.
Hi.
He
Hold
has
on
to
one
raise his-
second, please. Please raise your right hand, sir.
Yes,
You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes, I do.
State your full name for the record.
My name is Abdul Muin Dandis.
Thank you.
Mr. Dandis?
Yes,
Okay, can you explain to the board who your target customer is for this used car lot?
Mr. Dandis is breaking up.
I understand, I'm
I didn't know. Oh, okay.
Mr. Dandis?
Yeah.
Hi, did you get a question?
no, what's
Okay. Who is the target user for this used car lot?
most of the target users, the customers, they're gonna be most of the business gonna be wholesale business and some internet clients. Now, the used car dealer business is based on the internet, not on the work customers. So it's and we expect that location will sell 2 to 3 cars retail, and the rest is gonna be in wholesale. In March.
2 or 3 cars a month and the wholesale, and your target audience is online?
Yes, yes,
Okay, and you are not expecting, nor are you planning to have any parking on River Street?
no, not at all.
So the amount of parking spaces that you are allotting for each lot, you expect that to be sufficient to serve the customers and the retailers?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And you've been in the business of used car dealership in the past, Mr.
Yeah. Yes,
You have been before the board for other used cars?
yes,
Okay, you have experience, and those dealerships run similar to the ones you're running here?
yes.
Okay. That's all the question I have.
Okay, then at this moment, I'm going to open it up to the public first. I'm gonna ask if anyone from the public has any questions of the architect or Mr. Dandis, to please call in at 973-321-1579. And the meeting ID number is 711-680-0071. I will give 2 minutes for call-ins and 3 minutes for questions. Thank you.
Chairwoman, I'm back.
Yes, any call-ins?
Yes, we do. I'm going to start. Did you already open this up to the public? I'm sorry, I was working with IT staff.
Yes, I have
Okay, I
opened it
will
up
put
to
the
the
first
public.
caller on right now.
Okay, how many do we have?
So far, let me just get
Okay.
the first one on. His
Yep,
name is
okay.
Michael Jackson. He is from. We do have one caller.
All right, Maggie, you just broke up. I didn't hear it. You only have one caller
Okay,
now?
no, I do have a caller. I'm trying to connect. We had to have him call back in. It is Mr. Michael Jackson from, I think it's Clinton Street. I'm not sure exactly, but he will be on in 1 minute.
Is this the councilman?
I did not ask that because
Okay.
it's an interested party and it is someone from a residence. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, can we remove the plants? I want to see the faces, please.
I'd have to ask the architect to take them down.
Thank you.
He's almost done, ma'am. Please look. I do apologize for the delay. As everyone knows, I have to run from one office to the other due to COVID-19. I have to be restrained as the IT staff as well for our own safety. So it takes me a while, so please, I apologize once again. Mr. Michael Jackson, are you there, sir?
I'm here.
Madam Chair?
Yes, your question, please? First of all, what is your address for the record?
My address is 227 Clinton Street.
Does
Okay.
Linda have to swear him in at any time or no?
That's what she's just asking a question.
Okay.
I didn't hear the last statement. Can you repeat that, please?
No, you're just asking a question, you don't need to be sworn in, so, I'm asking if you could just ask your question, please.
Well, one, I'm not asking a question. I'm pointing out a few specific items that are concerns.
Okay,
And I'm
wait,
asking,
go ahead. And I'm asking what?
for this board to take consideration of a few of these items that I don't think have been discussed.
Okay, but at this time, I'm only asking for questions of the two witnesses. If you have comments, then I will ask you to stay on the line, and we will have at the end of this not at the end, before the meeting ends, you will have time to make your comments and discuss those questions. They're not really questions, you're saying, they're comments. And you want us to take this into consideration, but right now I'm only taking questions. So can you hold on the line?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. All right, so. Okay, commissioners,
We have no more photos at this time, Chair.
I'm asking Mr. Jackson to stay on the line because he doesn't have a question. He has, sounds like comments or things he wants us to consider, which I'll save to the end. So in the meantime, I'll open it up to the commissioners. Are there any commissioners that have any questions of either of these two witnesses?
This is Commissioner Santana. I have one question.
Yes, please. Who's your?
About the lighting plan that have to be submitted. Are you guys have that ready, or can you elaborate a little bit on that in that topic, please?
Yes, sure, Commissioner. We don't have that currently on this submission, but we need to submit that to the, as I mentioned, it should be to the satisfaction of the planner and the city engineer, Mr. Deutsch and the city engineer. They would review it and want us to change this to the lighting plan.
Excuse me, what is that sound?
Unfortunately, I cannot, it'll take a few minutes.
Okay, I'm sorry, continue, sir.
Yes, no problem, sure. So we will provide site lighting plan in compliance with the requirements of the ordinance, and it would be subject to the review and approval of the Mr. Deutsch and the city engineer.
Okay, so in essence, should this board get an approval on this particular application, then Mr. Aquaviva, this would be in as a condition, or would it just automatically come up because it is a city engineer requirement anyway?
Madam Chair, if the commissioner is so inclined to make a motion and wanted to condition it upon a lighting plan, then yes, it would be a condition.
Condition, okay, all right, so we can always do that at the end. Commissioner Santana, any other questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Velez?
Thank you, Madam Chair, thank you. I know this is gonna be a short meeting. I'll try to do the question, directly. I don't know who's gonna answer this. Attorney, you will choose who's gonna answer it. I don't know if it goes to Mr. Dandis or it will go to the owner of the lot, and question here for this dealer. Let me go directly to to the owner of the dealer. What's his name?
Abdel Maureen Dandis,
Dandis. Okay, Mr. Dandis. He's the owner of the dealer.
and a lot.
And the lot. How long he been owning this lot?
Just 1 year, 2 months or 3 months.
Okay. Do you reside in the city of Paterson?
Not now. I used to be. I just moved to Totoma.
Okay, you say that your business is all mainly going to be wholesale business, so all the sales is going to be through internet.
Most of the business gonna be through the internet. We expect we will have like 3 to 4 customers a month, retail coming from the internet.
Correct. In that year and a half that you've been owning this lot, I believe you acquired the lot when the fire destroyed the whole building, correct?
That's true.
Okay. Do you pave the lot?
Yeah.
All right. Do you cut the curb?
It's not cut yet.
Sir, I just want to let you know that I travel through the whole entire city of Paterson, and before I'm in front of this board, I like to go to places and look at it. So,
That's good.
okay. So there's a driveway structure in front of the paved lot, correct?
Yes.
So,
But not cut yet. But you know, the curb is not.
there's a driveway, sir, right? Correct?
But we need to cut it. Yes.
Correct. Sir, just answer my question. Do you do a drainage plan for this paved lot? Do you request the necessary permit from the engineering department for this driveway or this pavement lot? That you did the drainage according by law and with the proper permits before doing it?
Okay, this is what happened. When you have a building on all the lot and it has been, demolished, it's considered, I'm not adding any drainage to it because it was a roof before. So what we are doing, just we remove the demolition stuff and we kept the basement, which was concrete, and we made it blacktop on the top of the concrete. That's all what we did. So I didn't expect I would need any permit for that.
Sir, I don't know if you want to talk to your attorney, but all the facts that I'm talking here, these are permanent requirement for the zoning department and for the engineering department for the city of Paterson. I'm a councilman, I know the law, I know the requirement, and we'll let him know that what I observed. And the year before, year and a half that you had this building, we, the council, had to go chasing around the developer that's supposed to remove the debris because they just let the debris and left. And unfortunately, you inherit this situation. But I'm talking a year and a half that you have the property. You paid the property, you did a curb, you did a driveway entrance, you put fence, okay, beautiful fence, and according to you, you did it without permits.
Which one? The sidewalk, it has a permit. We got permit for the sidewalk because it has to be done right. I'm afraid somebody could call and could sue me. And anyway, I cannot, you cannot have insurance on any property if you don't have a clean sidewalk. So I got permit. For a fence, I put that fence to prevent anybody from dumping garbage on my property, which I'm paying every month, a lot of money for people dumping garbage on empty land in city of Paterson. This is number one. Number two. Number three, I cleaned up all the debris because the previous owner was under violation and he sold me the property on one condition to clean it up as is required. We got the permit as is required by city of Paterson. We spent a lot of money because there was asbestos next to the river. So I had to hire people from the environmental to accept everything, and it was done and accepted by the state.
Sir, you did a curb cut to do a driveway to park your car inside the pavement lot?
We don't have a driveway now.
Sir,
if you look, Mr. Lewis, if you look at our
Madam Chair,
I say, the gentleman is answering your question, so, either you accept his answer, there's nothing more I can do. He's answering your question, Councilman.
okay, Mr. Dandis, are you aware this was a residential zone?
No, it's not. It's
Sorry, there was a building. There was a building, a multi-dwelling building that had residential.
Has no residence. All of it was commercials. There was no apartments in that book.
It's a multi-use section. I don't know if it's something's a feedback or whatever, alright? So you now planning to put, how many cars you plan to put inside a lot, sir?
Probably it's gonna be between 12 and 20, as much as you know it's possible.
Are the pavement is gonna be, painted, as a parking lot? Like,
Excuse me, Councilman Velez, excuse me, commissioners and staff, someone has a television on or on the phone, you must mute your mics. I'm not gonna go through this, it's very difficult for me to pinpoint it. By the time I pinpoint it, you stop. So just mute your microphones, please, so that the attorney and the applicant can prove their case and even the commissioners listen. It's a matter of etiquette at this point. Thank you.
Councilman Velez.
yes, sir.
Al Aquaviva. I just wanted to point out a couple things with your question, and I might clarify things. I actually have a question myself. Madam Chair, can I just work?
Yes, I'm here, I'm muted.
Okay, thank you. Councilman, basically, if the application were to be approved tonight, Mr. Dandis would have to apply for all the permits that would be required, and obviously, in enforcement, they would go back, and if they saw necessary to go back to basically, hit him with fines for anything that was done already without a permit. But if the application were approved tonight, he would have to apply for any and all new permits anyway. So I think that would address your question currently and retroactively for any of the prior work that you might be concerned with. But I actually have a question. Mr. I just wanted to ask a question because I think it'll tie in with your question.
Okay, go ahead.
Ms. Dubiel?
Yes.
This property is on the Passaic River, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Have you inquired as to whether or not there are any type of permits or required from the state?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, I hear papers.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Councilman Ballas, can you stop shuffling the papers?
I'm sorry. Have you or your client inquired of the state of New Jersey?
I'm sorry, I can't hear, I hear papers.
Okay. What about now?
Yes, I hear you now.
Okay. My question is have you or Mr. Dandis, the applicant, inquired of the state of New Jersey or the DEP of any permits that may be necessary because this property abuts the Passaic River?
Yes.
And if you have, or quite frankly, even if you haven't, my suggestion would be that if this application were approved, it would be conditioned upon either a permit or a waiver required from the, issued from the state of New Jersey. So if you can answer that question, I might clarify some things.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aquaviva. I appreciate the question. And yes, it is currently subject to the state DEP review. And we may be towards the end of that process at this point. And I want to make two clarifications. My client purchased it almost a year ago, October 8th of 2020. And any drainage issues, I'm assuming, would be taken care of when it goes before the engineer at that point.
Oh, you mean October 8, 2019, not 2020?
2019, I'm sorry, 2019. And
yes, that was my point before, Ms. Dubiel, with Councilman Velez's point. If the application are approved, they're gonna have to go through that process anyway.
Yes, we understand that. The other thing is, my client was more concerned about the safety measures, because it was a fire damaged building that was raised with a tremendous amount of debris, which was presenting a hazard to the surrounding neighborhood, the pedestrians, and that social club. There was a majority focus on that social club with children, and they do a lot of fundraising for the children's football leagues in town. And he was very concerned about making sure that no one got hurt on that debris and with whatever was going on there with the asbestos, which is contaminating and could have posed a tremendous contamination problem to the river. So he took emergency measures to address all of those issues.
Or he'll address that moving forward if the application were approved.
Yes, thank you.
And I want to add something. We already submitted the plans to the state of New Jersey, and we are almost done. We are on the last stage to get approved. And by the way, they don't want us to put any drainage over there because it's not gonna work anyhow. They want us to build a wall which is 4 feet high, made of concrete, and 3 feet deep. And this is what we are doing now. So that's the plans, and we already submit the plans. And believe me, it's a lot of fees, and we get all of that.
Yes, certainly, Mr. Dandis, I certainly understand, what you're going through. I deal with the DEP in the state of New Jersey for our private clients on a regular basis, so I do understand that. But I just want to make you aware, and you as well, Mr. VL, and the board, that if the application were approved, it would have to be conditioned upon an NJDEP approval. It seems, Mr. Dandis, that you're almost there, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, we do understand that. And we took those steps, well in advance of this meeting. And as Mr. Dandis just indicated, we're at the tail end of that process at this point.
So can I continue with my questions? Can I continue with my question, Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, thank you. So I'm looking at the plans here. So the gentleman stated that he's going to put 10 on the first lot and 6 on the other lot?
No.
That's what he said?
No,
What is it, 12 and a 6?
5
Lot.
on lot 2, in that little parcel.
Okay.
And this is really a question for the architect.
Whoever want to answer, ma'am, I don't have a problem. So how many cars are you gonna put in lot number 1?
And there are 21 spaces for lot number 1. 21 spaces for lot number 1, and 5 spaces, including 1 handicap, for lot number 2.
So my question is, he just stated that he's gonna put 10, 12 cars in one lot. Which one lot we talking about, the 12 cars?
The north side, lot 2, the lot that contains 21, he wants to, that's the car dealership lot. So that's where used cars are going to be.
This car is gonna be inside of the fence?
Yes.
At the property, yes.
How are you gonna maneuver inside to put cars? If you're gonna face the cars towards the street and River Street, how are you gonna maneuver inside? If you look at the lot, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know who have drive-on through there, right? I don't know how you can put 21 cars and then maneuver inside when you have the whole fence and he's at the driveway already. I don't know how you're gonna maneuver inside the cars. The lot is too small. The lot is too small even for the bigger trailer that he has. I don't know how you're gonna do this. And this is why I'm afraid. I drive around the city and I see all these dealers popping up everywhere, even residential zone. And you know what's going on? We got cars parked in residential zone. We got cars with temporary place all over, taking residents parking because they don't fit inside their lot that they designated, according to them, a dealer. You could drive down a straight street, all the cars on the curb and top of the sidewalk. And I could go on and on and on. I want to make this happen, but let's live the reality. You cannot put 20 cars and maneuver inside a closing lot with fence and have a small driveway with a big trailer in a small lot. It is small. Let's be realistic.
Let's ask the architect.
Oh, let's ask the professional, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this parking lot is not for customers. This is for the used cars that are intended to be sold. So the person who is operating the car dealership will be maneuvering those cars. There will be a lot of back and forth, obviously, but this is all car dealers, even the new car dealers, they tandem park their cars. So
Mr. Architect.
I'm sorry, I didn't finish.
Okay, go ahead.
So the depth of those parking spaces, the parking spots, is longer than the ordinary parking space. So they would be able to maneuver back and forth. It's going to be difficult, I give you that. But this is not a regular, parking lot for people who are using the building. The regular parking lot is towards the south, and it has 5 parking spaces, which is sufficient.
Well, so this architect, so you agree it's gonna be difficult? Thank you. Now, I got a question for you, Mr. Architect, all right? Even if Mr. Dandis stated that it's gonna be wholesale, and the word wholesale means a lot in the industrial selling. If you tell me retail, is another different ballgame, but wholesale also is a big word that you're using to pitch for this dealer that do not fit there, in my opinion. But I want to give you a scenario, a question. Mr. Architect, did this dealer is going to have signs says dealer?
Yeah.
Thank you. Did this site is going to have we are open?
A sign that says we are open?
Yeah, it's gonna say office open. He just stated it's gonna have a handicap space. He just stated that he's gonna have a office to people wait inside and this and that. Only with having a sign in a property, strike the internet cell only. People are going to stop soon as they see 22 vehicles in a lot with prices, with flags, and everything. It's going to create the area, a congestion area, no matter what. You selling me that you're going to sell the internet, or you sell it, even in selling the internet, you're going to bring people to the lot to look at the cars before buying it. So that is a strike for me, saying that you're not going to have people there. It's a busy road, okay? You don't have space to park cars. People cannot be parking in the street. It's going to be a congestion area, and I don't think for me that the lot is so big to have 22 cars or whatever you want in the area with the amount of people coming back and forth on it. That's how I see it. I don't know if my commissioner could see it the same way, but I just want to pitch it that way. I don't think this fit and the way the capacity that he's presented in an internet sale, wholesale, and nobody's going to visit like that place, and he's going to have cars with signs that says there's a dealer, buy here, pay here, good financing and all that stuff. I don't buy that. I raise my question.
Councilman Alak will be here. I just wanted to point out 2 things so that you know. Certainly your concerns, your questions are very, very valid. There's no doubt about it. But 2 things that you need to point out in the line that you need to understand in the line of your question. Number 1, the proposed use is a permitted use in this zone. So, unfortunately, it is, even though your questions are very legitimate. And the second thing is there's no parking variance required. So the amount of parking that and certainly the practical aspect of it, you made it very, very clear. You may very well be right. But legally speaking, there is no parking variance. So the amount of parking spaces that he's providing complies with the city's ordinance.
Well, the part of when I say parking is that this is a no parking zone. If I look at it, there's no signs on it.
You mean on the street?
On the street, yes, on the street.
Okay.
And if he has customers, okay, that I doubted that he's going to do internet sales and just sell it, and I'm going to deliver the car to your house. People are going to come in, and there's some people that even they see cars parked for sale as a dealer. The sign by itself is saying dealer. It's not saying dealer, don't buy here, go in the internet. It's going to say dealer. So anybody that travels through there, it's going to create a traffic congestion.
You're right that possibly could happen. But
and the other thing is, he said that he has a fence, okay? And I saw a driveway code cut there, okay, that he didn't took permit out of it, okay? He paved it without permit and without the requirement of the engineering of the city of Paterson, okay? Now, if he could put the cars the same way, I'm seeing it here in this plan that I had. Before he speak, I'll be looking at the plan up and down. I'm being counting. If I'm going to put the cars that he's putting one after the other, and that thing is hard It's difficult to maneuver cars in there. Where he's gonna put the cars when he had to put 5 cars in the back and the front is blocking? Let's be realistic. The intention probably is good. He want to do business in the city of Paterson, but it's too big for the area that he want to construct.
Madam Chair, can I ask a question?
I think the attorney, excuse me, yes, Commissioner Brooks, let the attorney, excuse me, let the attorney speak first. The attorney, Mr. Bial, you were going to say something.
Yes, despite the fact that there is no parking variant, there are other used car lots in the immediate vicinity that have the exact same setup as this one. And there is one, less than a mile away, right on Straight Street. And.
Ms. Rose, can you move yourself, please?
Now, excuse me, Councilman, Mr. Bial is speaking, and then Ms. Brooks wants to ask a quick question. Okay, so Mr. Bial, please finish.
It's a very heavily traveled road. I take that road every day, to and from home. And, people understand you can't park on Straight Street there. And there isn't a lot of congestion going in and out of the parking lot. And there's very little room in that particular parking lot. The plan that my client is intending here conforms with everything else that's going around in the neighborhood.
Madam Chair, I just could have.
Oh my God.
Yeah, somebody's breathing on the microphone. I don't know
who's breathing or who's doing anything. Go ahead, Mr. Velez, but make it quick because I'd like to go on to the other commissioners. I'd like to move on, please.
All right, so yes, the last question, is, Madam Attorney,
It's Mr. Bial.
Is there any traffic study has been made in this application?
Is that a requirement? Is that a condition?
I want to make sure it is safe to have
It's imposed.
Well,
I'm sure that, but we can ask the architect.
because you're gonna be having car exiting and entrance into that place, and you have in front of you have another exit and entrance from a car wash, and you have another. I want to know if it's safe in the area.
Okay, Mr. Alcantara, okay, has there been any study? Let's just get yes or no. Has there been any study? No, okay, good. All right, then I'm just gonna move on.
Thank you.
I'm gonna move on. Yeah. There's no study done, and that's the end of that. Yes, no. Okay, Commissioner Brooks, please.
My question is going to, it's 2 points. To Councilman Velez, when you've seen in other places, River Street has used car dealers all up and down that area. When you've seen overpopulated cars outside on the streets and things, what have you done? You're a council person, so you saw an overflow of cars along the streets. Did you make any kind of did you make any kind of accusation or have them stop doing it or send somebody in authority to say that these people were overflowing on the street? I don't understand it because River Street has parked used cars, dealerships, all up and down. What you're saying, I don't understand because it makes no sense. The other thing of it is that it makes no sense because the other part of that is that when you put into a dealership like that and the cars that are in that particular area is not requiring a parking variance, which it would if it was necessary. So what you're saying, it makes no sense to me unless you tell me that you made complaints to the appropriate people that there was an overflow in the streets of cars on those places that had dealer parks. Other than that, I don't understand your point at all.
Madam Chair, may I answer my fellow commissioner, please?
Yes, okay, fine. Please answer it quickly so we can move on.
I'm gonna answer quick, and everybody that knows me knows I am a boot on the ground councilman, Everybody that knows me, they know I'm a proactive councilman. If you want those records of calls of mixed function or any violation committed in the city of Paterson regarding traffic, regarding illegal construction, illegal dealers and illegal traffic or park or whatever, you can request that. Operate, Ms. Brooks. The only thing I could tell you is that I'm a proactive councilman. I know what's going out there. We could agree and disagree. For you, probably don't make no sense. For the residents of Paterson and other people probably watching here, we get a lot of complaints, 100 complaints about decision made from this board, from the zoning board, or whatever, and we end trying to see how we could resolve it, all right, in the council chambers. So I'm not saying, Madam Lawyer, I'm not saying this application, and I don't want to mix one apple with. So, hold on, Madam Lawyer, Madam Lawyer, with all due respect, I'm answering a question from a commissioner that had doubts of what I'm talking about.
I understand, but I'd like to get to the application, and I'd like to make a.
And that's what I was going to go, and that's what I was going, I want to put a point of order, that's what I was going to.
Listen, I'm gonna move on. I'm moving on. Okay, done. I'm moving on. I've
Go
had,
ahead, Madam Clerk.
okay,
I agree.
I have really had. It's enough. Okay, it's enough. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I want to move on. So that being said, do we have any other commissioners who would like to ask the question of either the architect or Mr. Dandis?
This is Commissioner Cleese. I have one question.
Yes, please, go right ahead.
I just wanted to know what the correlation was for the car dealership and the social club.
Okay, so I would assume that Mr. Dandis can answer that?
What is your question?
The question was, okay, what is the correlation or the relationship between the car dealership and the social club?
You know, the social club is a big existing.
It's been there forever, correct?
No, it has been forever, and
Yes.
gonna stay forever. And they are doing excellent job for city of Paterson. You know, they are helping the teams, they make them.
I think we understand that, Mr. Dennis. I think our question is like, how do they connect? How do they connect? The social club and the car dealership.
What's good about it, the only thing they have a common parking lot, which it has, be for 5 cars. 1 car is for the dealership, and 4 cars for the social club, and for any customer or any people visit them. That's what it is. But there's no relationship between the dealership and between the social.
So you're just allowed to use one of their parking spaces, correct?
That's
And I just say that the social club hours are after business hours because
That's right.
all of the members work
Okay.
fine. So
Okay.
the social club is active between 4 and 10 p.m.
Okay, good.
Monday and Friday, I believe.
Okay, good. All right.
And you said it's only 5 parking spaces for the social club?
Yes,
And they,
cases. Because, usually what they do, they don't open for the public. They are only family members who does this type of job. That's the only thing. They meet, usually in the weekends, but they say, from 4 to 10. But usually they meet only on Saturdays and Sundays. That's the only thing.
I didn't hear your answer. Can you say yes or no?
Oh, yes. 1 to 5 bucks.
That's it.
Okay. All right. Any other commissioners have any question of either witness?
Yes, Chairperson.
Yeah, is that Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Yes, please go right ahead.
My question is for the owner. You said about you were required to do a walling.
Yes.
Can you explain about that, please?
Okay, I'll tell you what it is. We submitted our first time to State of New Jersey to be approved for used car dealer and put the office trailer. They came up last week and they said, in order to approve our application, they need me to build a wall in the back. They need my engineer, which I hired a big engineering company in Manville. They need to build a wall that meets their requirements. So it's gonna be prepared this week and it's gonna be submitted to the state of New Jersey for approval. Once it's got approved, I will go to the city of Paterson and get the permit to build that wall as it's required. And by the way, state of New Jersey doesn't want me to put any drainage in that lot. They don't want to put anything like that because it's not only not gonna help, it's gonna move the soil. They don't want that. Just adding up what they are required. But
That's not my question. And so you answered my first part of my question. The second one is about, there is a flood zone, correct? Is that why
Yes.
you to build the wall?
It's a flood zone.
Right. So that's why they require you to build the wall?
Yes, because what it is. When you are close to a river, they have two parts of the land. One of them, you have to build a wall from cement, or you have to put some type of dirt, 3 feet or 4 feet high, to prevent the water coming to the lot. They want me to build that before they approve it, state of New Jersey.
Okay, yeah, thank you, because I live around the corner from the area, I'm very familiar with it. With the fire, Councilman has talked about, so I understand, some of the things required to do that. Thank you for the question.
And may I add something? Over there, it's not a residential area. That neighborhood, most of it commercial. It has one mechanic garage, 2 used car dealer, body shop, and a dog bar for a dog.
I know it's mixed use area. We already approved the car dealership on the corner already. They came to our court, so I know where the area is. I'm right on Montgomery Street, so I know.
Thank you.
Okay. So, does any other commissioners have any questions of either of the witnesses? Yes, Commissioner Ledeen, please.
So I'm thinking what other better ways or productive ways we can use those lots. I think, the car dealership, which is okay, and we are talking about the parking spaces and so long. Here's my question: when you said you're going to sell the cars on using internet, am I guessing that you are going to have a car carrying a trailer will come and pick up so many cars at the same time? Are we expecting that?
No, what's happening? Most of the business wholesale. Wholesale means they buy cars and they fix them and they resell them in auctions. So what it is, it's just wholesale action. So they get cars, they stock them in the lot, then they move them to another auction. This is what most of it wholesale means, from dealer to dealer, not dealer to customer. We expect we will have 3 to 4 retail customers a month because it's not a busy street for retail customers. And any customer, they want to come to Paterson, they come to tell before they come from the internet. I don't want to mention too many things. But this is what happened. So we expect 3 to 4 cars, it's going to sell from that flat retail. And that's what it is. It's very simple operation. Like, the other dealer. And it's clean operation. We don't have, any issue with any other lot. And
Mr. Dandis, I think you missed my point. The point is, do you think a buyer will come with a car carrying trailer to take maybe 5 or 6 cars at the same time?
No, this is not gonna happen. This is the majority of people come to bring cars. They come driving with dealer plates. It's not gonna be with big trailer. We're not gonna bring cars from the trailers.
So when we have 21 cars parked for the display, which is perfectly fine if you can show that. But my point is, if you sell 5 or 6 cars maybe at the same time, maybe parking truck trailer will come to pick up all the cars at the same time. So to make sure that the fence you have, the gate, the access to the parking lot, if that happens, the trailer can at least get into the parking lot to pick up all those cars. that's the only concern, because what I'm thinking is I don't want a trailer to park on the street, which is blocking the, regular traffic. That's what I'm thinking. And also at the same time, 21 parking, display parking, the cars you're going to have. So when you rotate car, I want to make sure that you have space enough inside that you can at least, move your car inside the parking lot to rotate from back and forth. But if you come to the, come on the street and go back to the parking, that's might cause, traffic always. So these are the things that I think you should keep in your head. So if trailer comes, trailer should get access to the parking to pick up the cars. As you're selling on the internet, I'm not sure how the sell would be. Is it really one person taking one, or a car carrying trailer coming to take 10 maybe cars at the same time?
Usually, they put the car on the internet. So a customer is interested, he will call up the dealer to make an appointment to come and see the car. They come, they see the car, but they make a deal. This is how it is, the internet, yeah. But the wholesale is different. People, buy cars from the auctions, and they stock them, then they move them to another auction. Usually, the wholesale, I hope, we're gonna have that type of sale, but that's impossible. We expect, maximum it will sell 2 to 3 cars a week. That's max.
So when you said, I'm sorry. So when you said wholesale, it sounds like you're selling like few cars at the same time, doesn't it?
Wholesale, the main, sorry. If I may interrupt, Commissioner.
No, of course, anybody can answer this question, yeah.
When wholesale happens, the cars don't go into this lot. He's based there, but he sells it from auction to auction wholesale. The cars don't have to come to this location when they sell wholesale.
That answered my question, and at the same time, I'm just telling one more time that if you think that you are going to sell few cars at the same time, and you need, or you're expecting your buyer will come with a car carrying trailer, then I want to make sure that the trailer is not actually parking on the street and picking up all the cars at the same time, which is going to block the regular traffic. So if that happens, if you think you are going to have that much sale, or you're expecting the trailer will come to pick up the cars, then you should have the gate that much that at least the trailer can get into the parking lot and to pick up the cars. We want you to sell the cars. We want you to do your business well, definitely. But we want to make sure that you want to block the regular traffic.
No trailers would be into this location. It's all retail. The cars that come in with, he mentioned, it comes in with dealer plate. It means it's driven by someone, the car by itself, and brought into this lot. No trailers are expected to come here. Mr. Dandis, I think, can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
You are right. You're totally right.
Some words have changed, before you said wholesale, now it's came to, different wordings. But still, I'm telling this, it's a great, project for the city of Paterson. You're going to have a business, and we do support that. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we are not, causing, traffic that might hamper regular life. And other than that, definitely, I do support such wonderful project, But I want to make sure that if you sell, if you have wholesale, if you expect the trailer will come, then I want to make sure that you have the parking lot to park the trailer and pick up the trucks. And this is Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you. Is there any other commissioner that has any question of the two witnesses? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to ask Madam Secretary, we had Mr. Jackson in the wings who wanted to make some comments. I'll allow 5 minutes for comments. Is he still on the line?
I will check, sir. Madam Chair, 1 moment. Mr. Jackson, are you still available, sir? Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. First, I want to start by saying that I think that I'm very familiar with Mr. Dandis, and some of his other projects. He owns a number of different car dealerships in the city, and he's a sound business person. There's some things to consider. I think I would like for the board to consider as the councilman and the representative of this ward. I'm asking that the board respect the community. Currently, we're being overran with certain types of businesses. And if you look at some of our, some of the practices, some of the neighboring towns that don't have some of the challenges that we have, they curb some of these practices. And particularly, I'm excited to support some of Councilman Velez's concerns, because that's some of my concerns as well. The fact that the lot was already built out without receiving clearance or an approval from this board speaks volumes in the manner in which people do business in Paterson. There's a requirement to do business here. There's a requirement. You cannot just make an assumption of a past application and just preemptively begin to do construction and or pave lots and or put up fences and or cut curb cuts, which is all in its current place. Secondly, and more importantly, the traffic implications that some of these lots take place on. I called one of my residents who calls me all the time, who lives in the area of one of Mr. Dandis' other lots. He's not the only person to blame, but it's just a habitual problem where the lot during business hours, they unload their cars outside on the sidewalk, and in that area there's a no parking zone, so they'll park their cars on top of the sidewalk, restricting pedestrian passageway. And in this area, it may not have as much of an impact on residential parking, but River Street is a very congested, at times, thoroughfare, and it's going to cause issues with traffic. These lots, and many people, we all know that we have issues with code enforcement, and it's just the fact that we're just going to ignore some of the code, the early codes before we get started, is a concern. That's one of the things. Secondly, and more importantly, this area has been outlined by the federal government as red zone area. It is a non-permitted area to build due to the flooding conditions, and it's clear it has been mapped. Not only that, the council has written legislation specifically that targets and talks about, the vision and view of the future of the city when we talk about building in the river walks and doing things that have a much better outlook on the city. If you cross right over the road and go to Garfield and some of the towns that are right across the opposite side, they don't allow those neighborhoods to be inundated and overrun with certain types of businesses that bring on a certain type of decorum and or outlook on the community. We all, you guys as commissioners, your residents as well. Many of these applicants are no longer residents, and sadly, what I found out tonight, this resident who I called, because she called me consistently, and I happened to notice that her calls stopped, but I thought her calls may have stopped because she was annoyed with the fact that even I, as a council person, couldn't help her on Totowa Avenue going uphill with those lots. They parked cars in front of her home, and I was informed by her today that she moved. So she moved out of the city, and this is what's happening. The residents of Paterson are not happy with things
Councilman?
going.
Councilman? Yeah, may I just say something? If I'm not mistaken, there's no ordinance in Paterson that we cannot have dealerships. I think in other towns, they have ordinances. We don't have that in Paterson. That there within lies the problem. Am I correct?
I never said I never said or implied that we should not have dealerships. I supported Mr. Dandis in the past on Rowell Avenue, and where there was a completely dead area. I never said that we shouldn't have dealerships. I'm saying that we should not have dealerships everywhere. And the fact that, the business model is an internet-based dealership also raises concern that this lot is going to be utilized as a storage lot. If you look right around the city of Paterson, we're being overrun with these lots, and I'm not going to, make an extra effort to battle against this, because it's not about that. I respect the applicant; he's a sound business person, but this is about the city of Paterson. This is about a vision of where we're going. I mean, there's an outline of the first ward, which I'm the council person of, where the Great Falls has been, designated and created a certain type of decorum that they would love to see. And why does that have to end at a certain area of the city? Why do we have to continue to allow for poor businesses to take place? Furthermore, which is even more concerning, this lot after it's been paid, they've been hosting parties there, frequently. And, it's just a matter of respect and how we treat our community. We have to demand this type of treatment that we're going to accept from people who come into this community and do business here. So I'm asking the commissioners to support a different vision of the first ward and support, not to negate people who want to come in and do great business, but it should not be acceptable that people come in. It's unfortunate because, the applicant has put out some substantial money for this place, but he should have brought it to this board and to the city council first. It's not our responsibility to be accountable.
I understand that, and I appreciate your comments, Councilman. With all due respect, I have to wind it up. It's more than 5 minutes, but I also want to say that this is the application. We can't talk about what's going on River Street right now. We have to talk about the application at hand, what happens to be this application only. He cannot be held responsible, excuse me. He cannot be held responsible for everything else that's going on, or might be going on. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, but if you have anything else to add, can you please sum up so that we can move forward?
I'll say this in closing. I'm not asking or expecting for the applicant to be responsible. I'm asking the board to be responsible. The applicant clearly violated the code by moving forward on some of these actions prior to the approval. That's a clear violation. I'm asking the board to be responsible and hold all applicants accountable. If we're going to move this city in a different direction, we must hold all applicants accountable. We cannot allow continued neglect and abuse.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Aquaviva, did you want to say something? You're okay.
I would defer to Ms. Dubiel to sum up, and then I would like to just address the board on some conditions and issues that have been brought to light tonight.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Go ahead, Ms. Dubiel, go ahead.
So I would just like to say in closing that of course the property, as already been mentioned, is in an MU zone, which permits used car lots. Of course, again, to reiterate, there is no parking requirement. On the board's sheet that we got today, that was read into the record by Mr. Deitch, it states on item number 26 that the applicant should not store or place any vehicles registered or unregistered on any area of the public right-of-way. My client understands that and accepts that, and I think that that addresses a lot of the conversation that was going on here tonight. He also acknowledges that there is to be no parking on River Street of any nature, and the use of the property as a parking lot conforms with the surrounding area, which is of mixed general and commercial use. There are other used car lots in the immediate vicinity, and my client's proposal just conforms with that. It's not any different. It's not a high pedestrian traffic area, although there was a question about whether there was a traffic study. That's up to the engineer, I suppose, to make that condition, if that is a condition. My client, of course, as Mr. Jackson stated, has invested quite highly in the city of Paterson. The measures that were taken by erecting the fence and paving the lot and removing the debris, including the asbestos, was done as an exigent circumstance because of the danger posed to the community, surrounding community, and I think that conforms with Mr. Jackson's concerns here tonight. And the project would be a positive impact upon the neighborhood. It beautifies the neighborhood. It was an older building. It's now an open space. It gives view to the river. He continues to make investments in the city of Paterson. No, he doesn't reside in the city of Paterson. He could have fled the city of Paterson, but he continues to make investments in the city of Paterson, and all of the investments he has made has been to aesthetically improve Paterson. So I close on that.
All right, thank you for your comments, Mr. Aquaviva.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to point out a couple of points and seems to be conditions if the board were so inclined to propose a motion to approve the application. First, I just wanted to address Councilman Velez's points and to a certain extent Councilman Jackson's points, not only as a councilman but as a resident of the city. As the board is aware, I just wanted to refresh the board's memory, the planning board is not an enforcement authority like of the city. That is left to building inspectors and construction officials, and whether or not the code is being enforced or not being enforced, and certain activities being allowed or not being allowed. Unfortunately, that's outside the purview of this board. That doesn't make what Councilman Velez and Councilman Jackson's points any less relevant, because they are relevant. But just in terms of deciding the application, the board has no authority to enforce any violations that might have taken place already. So I wanted to point that out. Second, if the board were so inclined to approve this application, obviously, assuming that all conditions have been met and the applicant was now going to pull permits and whatever other approvals that would be needed to commence construction and do what needed, inspectors could go back and look to see if any work had been previously done without permits. Now, we heard from both councilmen that may be the point here, but quite frankly, we don't know for certain. We don't have copies of any violations. We don't have proof that the work that was done required permits. It may very well have. But if the board approves the application tonight, the building inspector and construction officials can go back to see if any work was done without approvals and, issue citations and summonses, as they deem appropriate. So I just wanted to clarify those issues. In terms of what I heard as conditions, I heard two definite conditions, and I heard a possible condition based upon what Commissioner Udine had been questioning the applicant on. The first one is, as I had already mentioned, nothing's going to happen on this property until the applicant gets approval from the DEP or any other approvals from the state of New Jersey, allowing the property to be developed. And from what I hear, it appears that they are at the end of this process, and there has to be a wall that has to be constructed. But the bottom line is if the NJDEP or the state of New Jersey doesn't issue those approvals, it's not getting down to Broadway to get those applications submitted. So that's number one. That would certainly be a condition. Second, I heard questioning about a lighting plan. So if the board were so inclined to make an application, a board member or commissioner were so inclined to make an application, that commissioner should make a condition upon the lighting plan that would be approved and acceptable to Michael Deutsch and any other authority in the city that would have the authority to review that. The third point, and I wanted to point this out in particular to Commissioner Udine, if Commissioner Udine is so inclined to make an application, or any other commissioner for that matter, there was an issue about trailers and parking trailers and ingress and egress of trailers. The board has the ability to condition this application upon the prohibition of trailers carrying cars, carrying vehicles, or limiting the size of that trailer to a number of cars that could be allowed to access this property. So I wanted to point that out. So I turn it over to you, Madam Chair, for a proposal, if the commissioner would be so inclined to submit an approval for the application or actually a motion to place on hold.
Before anyone continues out, Mr. I believe, I just want you to go over number 3 one more time, meaning trailers and the egress of carrying vehicles or cars, that I lost the rest of it.
What I was saying was this: basically, the board or commissioner has the ability to condition an approval on the prohibition of trailers carrying cars in and out of this property, or limit the size to, a certain number of cars, whatever that figure the commissioner may think is appropriate. 1 car, 2 cars, or a complete prohibition for that matter.
I understand. So I'm just a little confused. It is not the trailer bringing the vehicles in, it is the amount of vehicles that are coming into the property. Am I correct?
No.
And that goes part and parcel with the size of the trailer.
No, it said not the trailer.
I understand now. Thank you. I understand.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can I ask a question to the attorney?
Go right ahead.
Sure.
Al, thank you for the highlights. Is there any chance that condition regarding delivery or picking up onto our trailer could be impose a time, for example, delivery and pickup after 8 p.m. at night?
Yeah, first of all, I heard Councilman Velez, but somebody has to mute their mic because I barely heard them, but I did hear the question. Okay, that's better. Councilman, yes, you could do that. A commissioner could do that. I just want to point out, that's not the application before the board. Now, could the commissioner impose that condition? Yes. Could that set up a possible appeal or litigation later on that may give the applicant the ability to challenge this approval if it were so approved? Yes. But the short answer to your question is, you could impose that condition.
Well, the reason I'm saying it because even the attorney stated that this is a heavily trafficked road area, and she take the road up and down. So putting a condition of delivery and drop off and pick up a certain time after that time will alleviate the traffic and not congested during the day in the heavily trafficked road.
Absolutely. You can certainly condition the application on that. The question ultimately might be whether or not it's a reasonable or unreasonable condition, but you certainly could condition an approval on that.
And the other thing, attorney, do they own the lot 1 where the club is at, and they propose to put parked cars over there and everything?
Yes. Mr. Rubio, that's for you.
He owns lot 1 and 2.
Where the club is at?
Yes, that's where the parking lot for the used car lot is going to be.
I heard that in testimony.
Chairwoman Winthrop? Chairwoman?
Yes.
This is, go ahead.
Are we ready? Okay, who's talking? I want to move forward. Are we ready to move forward?
Is that Vice Chairman Fisher?
Yes.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Commissioner.
Through the chair to the attorney, Al Aquaman, Councilman Jackson made a statement on his number 2 statement about, the federal government, blacked out the area. I didn't see anything about that. I need to get some more information about that.
I have not seen that. I do not believe that's the case, and if Councilman is referring to the Great Falls District and the area around the falls, based on my review, I did not see it stretching this far down River Street. So unless some sort of proof or documentation is provided, I have to say that that's not the case.
I got some answer for that if you want me to.
Thank you.
I believe if you will go to the record of the buyback program regarding the flooding zone after the Sandy's flooding, they designated that area as a buyback for no redevelopment or construction due to the extensive flooding that was in the area. So I don't know if you could, if Mr. Michael Dorch knows about the flood zone, the designated area buyback program that they did in the area. If this fall into that zoning, this individual will be probably saving money at the end of the road. Probably somebody's going to be buying his lot. You never know. But this is designated probably in that category because the flooding and the past flooding segment that we have in the city of Paterson, the buyback program. That's why.
No,
This is not the area.
okay.
All right.
It's not. No.
It is not.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
one question, Chair.
yes,
He mentioned the testimony of the owner. I don't know if our believers could clarify this. He mentioned that, according to him, is not required to do a drainage in that, on the site. Is my understanding that every pave, every driveway, every new driveway needs to be complying by the new drainage exposed by EPA, exposed by the city of Paterson. So I don't know where he could stand in the testimony that he say, I don't need it. If he has a document saying that, hey, I could do this, I cannot do this, I'll be more comfortable to see any documents that will give him the credit that he's saying that he don't need it. Last experience that I have about a week ago, and Mr. Michael Dorch could testify on that. There was a new driveway. This is an experience that I had. A new driveway was going to be constructed, and we had to go back and forth with all that requirement drainage and this and that. I don't know where
Councilman, I think I can answer that question. You basically have two levels of protection there. Number one, in all of the resolutions that I prepare for each application, and in this particular one, because I'm looking at Mr. Deutsch's review on how it would be incorporated into my resolution, there is language in there that says plans are to be sent to the city engineer for review and approval. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating that the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. So that deals with the drainage issues as well as any other plans. But before they even get to that point, you have another level here, because the state of New Jersey has to review this application. So, quite frankly, if the state of New Jersey for some reason says there's to be no drainage, and I can't imagine that's the case, but if it's part of a letter from the state of New Jersey DEP, then that takes precedence over what the city's requirements are. If that is not part of a letter from the DEP, then all drainage requirements are going to required by the city are going to have to be satisfied by the applicant.
Yeah, based on the experience now, I've seen the plans in front of me and in other projects that they want to build in the city of Paterson. It has even a sheet drawing about drainage, sidewalk, curb cut, and all that. I don't see it here. I'm going by the testimony of the client, of the proposal developer here, or the owner of the lot, that he says, we don't need it. And I don't see a letter from the federal government. I don't see a state. You don't see a municipal letter. I don't want to fall into, and this happened before, okay? When they're going to enforce things in the city of Paterson, the first thing they say is, if the zoning board approve it, if the planning board approve it, we cannot do nothing. So, and that's the case. And I'm not saying that this is going to be the case, but it had been happening in the past. And then we, the council, end with all this question without answer because it was approved already. So I'm putting on the record, and everybody knows how you know how it works. I'll put it on the records that all this question was asked, and this was the answer that they gave, just in case it trickled back to this board or to the council as I said. Because remember, I represent the whole entire council.
Madam Chair, when you
What I can tell you is this, okay? Whoever provided that answer to you didn't read our resolutions. Okay, that I can tell you. Because if they read the resolution, then they would see that there are drainage requirements that are required before a permit can be pulled. What I'm saying here is that before you even get to that point, because this application is in the flood zone, because it abuts a waterway, DEP is going to review it as well. So what may very well happen is the DEP's requirements, okay, may very well go above and beyond the Paterson drainage requirements. So by the time it gets to the building inspector, the construction official, they may say there really is nothing to be done because they've gone above and beyond that by satisfying the DEP requirements. So I think the city is protected here on two layers just by virtue of where this property is located.
Yeah, I heard Commissioner Brooks. Commissioner Brooks,
quickly, the only thing I'm saying is that Michael George has put in his report that these things, the drainage and all of that, has to be approved by the city engineer. Each application that we have has to be approved by the city engineer. I don't understand why we're beating a dead horse here. The drainage problem or anything that we have to come up before us has to be reviewed by the city engineer. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Brooks. And on that note, I am going to ask.
Madam Chair.
No, I'm gonna ask for the vote now, sorry.
Madam Chair.
What?
I got a question to make to Michael George.
Ask it quick, because I'm ready for the vote. Ask it quick, please.
Madam Chair.
Ask it quick, please.
So okay, I want to elaborate my question and I want to do the right one, okay? Madam Chair, through the chair, Michael Dorsch.
Listening.
I know you're listening, but I just taking my time to answer. Asking you. What was the difference between the requirement of this applicant of this soil and the soil of supermarket? They are in the same area and they had to put some tanks under it to be approval.
That was undeveloped land, sir.
That's what?
The land was undeveloped. There was no previous structure on it.
So, in other words, EDP will grant it with that condition to put tanks under it.
So there was a building on the site before. DEP is going to take that into consideration.
Correct. I just want the commissioners to take consideration all the statements here, and I want to say this: we cannot do things backwards in the city of Paterson.
Okay, with any condition, Ms. Dubiel, are you done summarizing?
Chairman, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I ask a quick question? So the conditions, if we want to add conditions, and same question to our board attorney, if we want to add the conditions, do we have to do that before voting, or how that works, sir?
Yes. It's a very good question, Commissioner. What you would do is, if you were to make a motion for approval of the application, you would make it conditioned upon the conditions that you normally see, that you normally, propose that are in the review, in addition to the other conditions that I had indicated that I heard during the course of the application before. And I can summarize those again if you want.
I think I took note. If you if you can review one more time, I think all the commissioners can follow up with this. And thank you, I'm sorry to interrupt, Alderman.
Sure.
Chairwoman Northrop, when you call the first and second motion before the vote, Mr. Aquaviva can put the conditions on.
I can do that, but for Commissioner Dean, just for the record.
Yes.
There was, conditioned upon New Jersey Department of, DEP, Department of Environmental Protection approval, and any other approvals that may be required from the state of New Jersey. A lighting plan to be reviewed and approved by Michael Deutsch and any other authority in the city. And as far as we indicated, if you wanted to propose a prohibition against trailers or the size of the trailers for delivery on, an ingress and egress to the property. Those were the three.
Okay. So I'm going to ask, would any commissioner like to make a motion on this application?
I think I will go for
Go ahead.
This is Commissioner Dean.
Yes, Commissioner Redeem, go right ahead, please.
Alright, so on the application of Abdul Dandis, 96 Portland Avenue, Paterson, New Jersey, 07506, property address 243-253 River Street, Block 3101, Lot 2, and 255-263 River Street, Block 3101, Lot 1. I move that the Board Attorney prepare a resolution granting block variances, site plan approval, subject to the city engineer approval, Passaic County, Paterson, soil conservation district approval, with the following conditions, as we have just one over, NJDP approval, all of the city of Paterson requirements, lighting plan, and as we mentioned, whether the time should be fixed for the carrying truck trailer or size of the car.
And I believe there was including the lighting plan.
You did say that.
Yes, I did mention that.
Regarding the vehicles.
I just wanted to clarify, Commissioner, did you say a prohibition against trailer delivery vehicles?
Yes, sir, I did.
Thank you.
Okay, do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Fisher. Roll call, please.
Commissioners, Commissioner Brooks, yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Cleaves. Commissioner Cleaves? Can you hear me? Can you unmute yourself, Commissioner Cleaves? I will come back to her, Commissioner Santana. Commissioner Santana?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Udine?
Yes.
I heard Commissioner Cleaves. Is that a yes or a no?
She's still muted.
I didn't mute her. She's unmuted. Commissioner Cleaves?
He's muted again.
I did not mute her. I'm not touching it, so let me go back. Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Councilman Velez? Councilman Velez?
You're muted.
Muted.
I'm not muting.
Well, I don't know what's happening.
Councilman Velez, is it yes or no on your vote, sir?
Maybe something's here. Can you come back to me?
This is it, sir. You are the last.
You can come back. You still got people on the line to vote. Come
Commissioner
back.
Cleaves, do you hear the vote? Yes or no, Commissioner Cleaves? I do not have you muted.
Well, she is muted when you look at the screen.
Yes,
She's not.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Cleaves.
Can everybody be quiet, please? Your vote, Commissioner Cleaves.
Commissioner Cleese votes no.
Thank you, Commissioner Cleaves. Chair, Councilman Billups.
Well, thank you. I just want to say that, it looks like the records here that, he got 2 variances, and those variances, have not complied with the, request of the proposal, and other things that have not come to take consideration in front of us before making the decision, like the drainage plan, the lighting plan, and according to that, my vote is up.
Thank you, Councilman Billups. Vice Chairman Fisher.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir.
All right, this is something I never do. I just give an answer, but I have to say something about this application. I live in this area, and the building previously was an eyesore. When it was on fire, afterwards an eyesore, and I welcome something new and bright in the area. I voted yes.
What is your vote, yes, sir?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Chairwoman Northrup, your vote, please.
Yes, and yes, this, you had 2 variances, yes, this was, yes, definitely.
Yes, and 2 no. This application has been granted.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
I'm sorry, who did I not call?
Commissioner Issa.
Okay, Issa, all my apologies. You are so correct. Commissioner Issa, may I come back to you, sir? What is your vote?
Yes. My vote is
Yes? Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Issa. That was my fault, Madam Chair.
Okay, no worries, okay, he's there, at least he got his vote, and that's
Yes,
fine.
and 2 no.
Okay, so, do we have any other obligations this evening, like resolutions or anything else?
No, Madam Chair, we do not. And
Okay, our next meeting.
I'd like to apologize to Commissioner Issa, thank you.
Okay. Our next meeting is on October 26th, if I'm not mistaken, so I hope I see everyone then. Have a good evening, everyone, and I'll talk to you all then. Congratulations.